What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to see you back here. If you are new here, my name is Danyele. If you've been here for a minute, thank you for joining us again. I'm at my mom's house still. We are week 5 of her knee surgery recovery, so I'm still here taking care of her. It's a beautiful day outside, so I just wanted to come out here for this video. I wanted like a comfy, cozy little space. There's literally like bugs flying around the camera, construction in the background. Welcome to the suburbs, okay? Welcome to the suburbs. For today's video, I wanted to reintroduce myself in a way. I feel like it has been a while since I have told you guys my story, have really gone into depth with like who I am, like where I'm at in life right now, post egg retrieval, new relationship, post Spark app launch. Like there's so much that happened in the past couple years that I feel like I'm just now getting a moment to catch my breath. So I put a little question box on my Instagram story and invited you guys to ask me any questions that you might have right now, and I got a ton. I tried not to like really look at them because I wanted all my answers to really come from the heart and be a little bit more like off the cuff and not rehearsed. So this is genuinely my like first gut reaction and response to all these questions, which I think will be kind of fun. So we shall see what happens. And for our first question, I feel like this is a good one to kick us off. My girl said, reintroduce yourself. How did you start making content? My name is Danyele. I'm from Chicago. I actually grew up in the North Chicago suburbs. I did gymnastics from 2 years old to high school and then was on the varsity cheerleading team, cheered into college. Identifying as an athlete has always been something like near and dear to my heart. The character traits that I developed through being an athlete largely shaped the woman that I am today. I am fiercely loyal. I'm a Virgo. I love love. I was raised by a single mother. She is my why. She's my motivation. I absolutely love her. And I'm grateful to say that I've actually really gotten a lot closer with my dad in our adult years, which is something that was honestly an answered prayer. I have been with my boyfriend for about almost coming up on a year. I met him the end of July last year, and then we started dating in October. I like to be silly. I like to be goofy. Once you get to know me, that side of me will come out. But I also I like to give you a little bit of tough love. That dichotomy has always been what I felt best supported my journey. And that's the type of coach I would be. Very like tough love, like compassionate, but also like call you out on your shit. I hope that gives you a little bit of like a broad rapid fire intro or look into how I would describe myself or introduce myself. I am a trainer at heart, but I'm also a content creator. I absolutely love sharing my life online, getting to connect and meet women and hopefully be a bright light in people's days or just like a bright spot in people's days. Okay, so let me set the scene for you. Okay, it is 2016, I believe, maybe the beginning of 2017. I'm working my corporate marketing job that I've actually been at for 3 or 4 years at this point, just working my way up the corporate ladder. I always felt like something was missing. So I joined ClassPass actually to just start testing out different like boutique fitness studios around the city of Chicago. And I walked into a gym called Training Revolution at the time. And I will always shout out Trevor and Regina, who are the owners of that studio, who saw me, this like little shy girl, coming into a group fitness class at the same time. And we all know how that feels, like walking to a gym you've never been to. It feels like the first day of school. I had the best time in this class. Honestly, it was right up my alley, and Trevor, the coach at the time, asked me if I had ever thought about coaching. And I was like, no, but that sounds like a good idea, sir. I got certified and I started teaching group fitness, and my Instagram actually started because I was really just trying to beg my friends to like come to my class. That's genuinely how it started. My first post, if you scroll back to 2017, are like my schedule. It's literally just a picture of me. Like oh God, this is so funny. I lived in the same apartment building as my college best friend, still my best friend to this day. Layla, she would come down from her apartment, meet me in my apartment gym, and she would like take photos of me, and I would, edit them, create my little like work schedule, and that was the post. Like that was it. So shout out Layla, like she really was a real one and helped me launch this whole thing. I kind of also evolved a little bit on from that schedule post. I started posting what I was actually doing in the classes. That is when I started to see what was possible through Instagram because, it was those first DMs or comments even that I received from women being like, wow, like it's so impressive to see a woman lifting heavy, or I haven't moved like that since I used to play whatever sport in high school. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, we got something here. We got something here. So at the time, my schedule looked like teaching maybe 1 or 2 classes in the morning, early morning, and then I would sprint over to my 9 to 5 corporate marketing job. Then afterwards, I would like change in the work bathroom and go back to the gym, teach a couple classes, maybe have a one-on-one client. Then I would work out myself, film that workout, then go home, edit it, write my little caption, and then get that post ready to post the next day, and then wake up at the crack of dawn and do it all over again. Which I wouldn't say was necessarily sustainable, but it was a routine that made me so uncomfortable that I realized something had to give, something had to change. So that's what led me into coaching full time. And then once I took the leap into coaching full time, Instagram became so serious to me because that was a way to get people to my class. It was a way to bring in clients, which is at that point a way to put food on the table. Obviously, as social media has evolved, the way that I share my life has evolved, and I kind of feel like I'm in a little bit of a transitionary period as well right now. That's why I'm really excited about getting more into long form content. I have a goal of being at 100K subscribers within the year. Okay, this time next year, that is the goal. Hopefully, this can be a transition video one day. Let's move on to the next question. My boyfriend's grandma commented. The prompt was like, I'm starting my YouTube journey. Give me any questions for a Q&A. And she wrote in here, best wishes. How cute. And I feel like that's actually a good little segue into our next question, which is, how did you and your boyfriend meet? What is the story? Oh, girl, I have been putting this one off. I wanted to hold this story for myself. I wasn't actually sure when we got together if I would ever show his face on Instagram or talk much about him. I did that in a previous relationship, and it just felt like we all had to break up with my ex, if that makes sense. In a parasocial, like, weird way. Like, I felt like I had failed at something, and it was obviously the breakup was hard in itself, but then, like, telling everyone about the breakup 3 months later, I think I waited to tell people. That was just like a second breakup, and it was just like really intense. So I started off with kind of like a little soft launch, like, who is Wizard Kelly? Like, who is this man series? But at this point, you've all seen his face. You all know who he is. So let's get into how we met. If I was to give you the short version of the story, I would just tell you we met on Hinge and went on a couple dates, and that was that. The long version, I was someone who was like very opposed to dating apps. There are a lot of sociopaths out there. There are a lot of serial killers out there. I've watched far too many Lifetime movies. I was genuinely afraid that I was going to be someone's victim. So I was just very afraid to put myself out there in the way. But as we all know, we are not going to meet our dream man sitting on our couch thinking about him. It was 4th of July. I was a little bit tipsy at the pool with one of my girlfriends, and she was like, you know what? Let's just make you a Hinge profile. Because I was like asking her if I could go through her profile and like see what was out there. And she's like, girl, if you don't get your own damn profile and get out my matches. So she actually made it for me. Honestly, I forgot about it. I let it sit. A week later, I opened up the app because I was just like curious of like what the cat drag did. I had a bunch of matches that I was like scrolling through, but I guess Hinge has this thing where if someone sends you a rose, it like goes to the top, and it's like, I guess you get one rose a day. So it's like a big deal. I don't know. Anyways, I got a rose from this man, and I was like, oh, He is very handsome. This is what caught my eye on his profile. He had a video of him dancing, and I was like, "Oh, that's my type of man." Like, that's the fact that he is like dancing, goofy, like in the middle of a bar, like, and it was very clear that it wasn't like him on the dance floor being kind of like a look at me. It was like him with a group of friends surrounding him. Like, it was just like very chill, cute, but he was like obviously and clearly vibing, and I was like, I could vibe with that. We had a couple words back and forth, and I honestly got freaked out. I was like, I'm not ready for this. The thought of going on a first date terrified me genuinely. So I was like, that's enough for me. Put that over there. So I kind of just like closed down my Hinge app. I was like, I'm not, this is too scary. Why am I like blinking? Oh, this is the good part. I opened my phone, my Instagram app, and I got a DM. And I was like, this man looks familiar. I realized it was the same picture from the Hinge profile of the man that I was like kind of a little bit chatting with. So I was like, oh, like he took the time to kind of like look for me and like search for me. And when I opened his DM, there was a resume. So one of my prompts said, like, what are you looking for? And I said, a date to my best friend's wedding, because one of my best friend's weddings was coming up. Must look good in a suit. Must be serviceable on the dance floor. Something like that. And the DM, oh my God, now I have to like read it. Oh my God, is today July 8th?
Yeah.
This was July 8th. Oh my God. Weird. Okay. I feel like that's a sign. For what? I don't know, but seems important. So the first DM he sent me said, "Hi Danyele, I came across your opening for a +1 to your best friend's wedding, and I figured I'd take the initiative to send along my resume, references available upon request." And then he goes into write this resume, chief vibe officer, professional good time, suit connoisseur, again, tailoring it to the things that I had put into my Hinge prompt. I was like, okay, this guy's kind of funny. I liked the humor in the actual resume. I was like, okay, that was a little bit of effort. Granted, it was clearly made by him and ChatGPT, but there was some effort that was made to stand out, and I really appreciated that. So I didn't respond to that DM because I don't speak to men in that I'm romantically interested in my DMs. I took it back to Hinge and I said, wow, you and ChatGPT really did your big one with that resume. He answered right away. I think it was maybe like 20 minutes before he asked me on a date because I think he was scared that I was gonna like ghost him or leave him again. I accepted the date. We went on a first date on a Friday. We went to a little Italian restaurant in Wicker Park. And it was one of those dates where the waiter like kept coming over to the table and was like, "Are you ready to order? Are you ready to order?" And we're like, no, haven't even looked at the menu. Like deep in conversation, like over and over and over. Probably the most annoying type of table. I'm so used to like being vulnerable online. Like I was pretty vulnerable talking about my family relationships, my relationship with my dad, just like things that are probably not like first date acceptable. He met me with same, like, oh my God, I can completely relate to you there. Like, this is what happened to me as well. You know, like it was just like everything was so in alignment that I was like, wow, like there's no way this guy is real. First of all, 6'5", handsome, and like can hold like a genuinely good conversation. Made me feel safe. He was a gentleman, like stood up out of his chair when I walked over to the table. You know what I mean? Like walked on the outside of the sidewalk when we left the restaurant and walked over to like a little speakeasy. Like that type of stuff really stands out to me and really matters to me. Oh, I also, when I was wearing these like flare jeans and like pointy toe heels, like trying to be cute, knowing I never usually wear stuff like that, and I fully tripped. Not like a cute little stumble, like I like fully face planted down onto the ground as we were walking. He like caught me. It was like something out of like a straight up like Disney movie. Like I'm not like Disney Channel original movie, maybe not the cartoon ones, but like definitely gave DCOM. Then we got to the speakeasy and we were kind of just like still vibing back and forth. We may or may not have had a little smooch. From that moment, there is not a day that has gone by that I have not talked to that man. And in the beginning, I was very unsure how quickly to move. And I was very unsure about like getting into a new relationship after like I had just experienced such like intense pain from ending my last relationship, but just something about him just felt like home and made me feel comfortable, made me feel seen and safe and taken care of in a way that I feel like I had never been taken care of before. And the rest is history. All right, next question. My girl asked, curious about your egg freezing journey and what your boyfriend thinks about it. I feel like my boyfriend doesn't get to think about it at all. Like, it is quite literally like none of his business. That is a decision that I made for myself, by myself. And it was a journey that I was expecting to fully do by myself. It just kind of so happened that I met him in July and was already planning to start the process of freezing my eggs in October. I think that was also a big part of why I was hesitant to get into a serious relationship with this man, because I didn't know what to expect with egg freezing. I had heard all these horror stories of the hormone shots and the injections and what they can make you do and how emotional they can make you. And while, yes, like I did experience a range of emotions, I didn't want to put that responsibility on someone else who, like, I may not, at that point, like, I may not end up with. He didn't really get a vote or a say in anything. It was definitely something that I did for me, by me, and he just so happened to be there. I will say, to his credit, one of the reasons why I decided to be exclusive and, like, be boyfriend and girlfriend was the way that I saw him show up for me throughout that. He was there with me for every shot. When it got to the point, I've been taking the medication for a while and it was like uncomfortable for me to drive or like take an Uber. He drove me to every appointment. He was there for every emotional outburst. He actually was the one who put the trigger shot in my butt cheek to like kick off the, once you put the trigger shot in, you have 36 hours to retrieve the egg. So that kind of like kicked off the whole actual retrieval. I would say the process was very surprisingly emotional in the beginning. Really, the first shot was the scariest, and I think there's just a lot of emotions surrounding the fear of it all, mixing up your own medications and sticking yourself with these needles. The pain of that first shot, I will never get over. It'll burn like a mother. Fear that I'm doing this all to my body for nothing, like this could not work. They could not get any eggs. I also have PMOS, so like this might just be like a wash anyways. Like there's just like so many like negative thoughts and emotions that like run through your head. As with any like new journey, I feel like I'm always someone who overthinks a little bit. I was just scared of the outcome, but day 2 shot was way easier than day 1 shot. And then day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, all the way to like day 14. Like by day 12, 14, like you would have thought I was a chemist. Okay, I was mixing up those shots, mixing up those medications, like popping it. I was dancing while doing them. By the end, I found that like playing some like upbeat gospel music really just made taking my shots super like light for me. The actual retrieval process was something that I came back to the suburbs for because I wanted my mom to be there with me for that part. So she's the one who actually took me in for the retrieval. I remember getting wheeled into the surgery area, and I think the anesthesiologist asked me one question, and then I don't remember anything else that happened, but my team at OVA knew that I was documenting this whole process for Instagram. So if you want to go check that out on Instagram, I will link those videos in the description box below for you. So it was crazy. Like I got to see things that like nobody ever gets to see, like in the actual surgery. And then I woke up. My mom was right next to me. I was a crying, emotional mess because of the anesthesia, but everything went super well. They got 29 eggs. I got to go home that day with a little like care package. Within the next 24 hours, they called me and told me that 20 eggs ended up being mature enough to be frozen. So now I have 20 eggs in a freezer somewhere in Deerfield. My mom can like drive past the eggs and like wave to her grandbabies, which she likes to joke about. So, one thing that they don't tell you or talk to you about in the egg freezing process is the recovery. I had a very tough recovery physically and mentally. Because I had PMOS, there is something called ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, which is like basically like you become like a super responder to the medication, and you get you have so many follicles because you have these cystic ovaries. That's why they were able to get 29 eggs, which is a blessing and a curse, because you're so happy to be able to get these eggs, but you're getting stuck. You're like piercing that vaginal wall to get to the ovaries more times, which then means more need and time and grace for recovery. My belly got very distended. I didn't have to get any water drained off me, thank goodness. A lot of women with PMOS end up having severe ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. It's called OHSS. Have to go into the hospital and get fluid like drained out of them. I had a more mild case of OHSS where that I didn't have to do that, thank goodness. Still, like, a lot of shortness of breath, very just uncomfortable, eating felt weird, barely could sleep. It just felt very foreign. The whole point of freezing your eggs or freezing embryos is essentially an insurance policy, because I don't know when I'm going to be ready to have children, and hopefully that definitely is in my 5-year plan. That's for damn sure. I'm 36, and in 5 years, like I that's 41, and the way women's fertility like plummets off the cliff after 40. Let me not speak for everybody, but it is something that is very real and is very scary, and I desperately want to be a mother one day. So I would rather go through the process and try rather than wishing I had done the process when I did. I honestly wish I would have done it sooner. If I could have used my 30-year-old eggs, they would have been probably better than my 36-year-old eggs. So it is something that I highly recommend. Although it wasn't the smoothest process, I think modern medicine is incredible and has given women opportunities to become mothers that we didn't have. If it is something that is financially available to you, I would say do it 100%. One thing that is very annoying and was really hard for me also going through it was knowing that it is not accessible to all women because it is not something that is covered by insurance. So I felt a lot of guilt being able to even do this because I know it's not something available to all women, and I wish it was. One day down the line, I would love to start a non-for-profit that just focuses specifically on women's health research, providing new research studies for women with PMOS, providing opportunities for women to do things like freeze their eggs. I think the agency that I felt over my body and my future was so empowering and so important. And I just believe every woman deserves agency over their uterus and their entire bodies. So yeah, if I could start a not-for-profit organization to help make that type of agency more accessible to women, I will. Mark my words there. Let's get into the next question. I feel like this video is probably like super long at this point, so I'm going to try to do a couple like rapid fire ones here at the end, and then we will get into another Q&A very soon. I feel like we should do one of these like monthly maybe, so we'll see. This is a good one. Okay, my girl asked, who or what motivates you? I struggle sometimes finding the motivation. And girl, I could not tell you like how much I relate to this. I would consider myself a very lazy fit person. I like to be horizontal, so finding motivation is rare, okay? I would say the two people that motivate me the most are, one, my mother, and two, the woman I was yesterday. I think my mother is the perfect example of hard work and sacrifice and is the like epitome of what it looks like to put others first and do whatever it is possible to take care of the people that you love, especially like your child. And, I watched my mom raise me with basically nothing. Like, after my parents got divorced, my mom had to literally start over from ground zero. I watched her be so relentless in being able to provide for me. So I just feel like I have no choice but to succeed for her. I have no choice but to continue showing up because she was always there showing up no matter what. So I feel like it's only fair that I do the same. When I say the woman that I was yesterday, I feel like that is the only person that you can really, truly, and fairly compare yourself to. Making progress, whether it's fitness, professional, self development, like whatever it is you want to do, can seem really overwhelming when you think of like the end result all at once. I like to think about being 1% better than the version I was yesterday every single day. And some days I absolutely fall short of that. Some days I may be in the negatives, okay? But the goal is to always try to be 1% better. Find a way to find a way. It's almost like a little bit of like competitive too. Like, I'm an athlete at my heart, so like there is like that competitive fire of being better than that girl yesterday. Motivation is fleeting. It doesn't really exist. It's kind of just like a woo-woo thing. You got to find something else that's going to get you off the couch, and truly action is sparked by emotion. So if you can find something that is going to make you feel something. Like, when I think about my mom and the way she worked, like, that makes me feel something. When I think about that girl that I was yesterday and trying to beat her and compete against her, like, that makes me feel something. That, like, those types of feelings are what is going to make you get up and act, even when like discipline kind of fails. Sometimes, motivation fails all the time. I think for me, discipline kind of fails sometimes too. But that, like, emotion, that's what gets me up off the couch. Hey, that's Bambi said, no question. Just wanted to say it has been so cool to watch you grow. Thank you so much. It just means a lot to me that you have, stuck around through all different versions of me and all different types of content and life changes, losses, wins. It just means a lot to me that you guys are here and that you even like care to share in some of these moments or care to like see what's going on in my life. If I had to add one more person that motivates me, it's you guys. Like, genuinely showing up for you guys, knowing that you guys are going to be there to like root me on or pick me up just as much as I try to root you on and pick you up. That is a relationship that I do not take for granted and is also genuinely so motivating for me. So thank you. Ooh, I like this one. Best financial literacy advice you'd give to your younger self. I think in my 20s, I was someone who didn't really understand the value of a dollar. To my mom's credit, she really just, was like, focused on school, focused on sports, focused on being an athlete. You don't have to have a job as long as you get good grades and you maintain your like varsity athlete status. So I didn't really have my first job till later on in life. So I will say that probably did affect the way that I viewed the value of a dollar. I, at some point, kind of like viewed my mom as an ATM machine or a credit card that I could just like rely on. Looking back on that now as an adult and like knowing how my mom had to scrap for every single dollar like seems actually diabolical. Starting my own business and building my own future wealth. If I could go back and change anything about financial literacy in my 20s, I would tell myself to get comfortable living beneath my means, okay? You don't need the fancy apartment as soon as you move to the city. Like, live with roommates as long as you possibly can. You don't need a brand new car. Like, drive the beater till the brakes fall off. You know what I mean? Like, get comfortable living below your means. And the second thing I would say is that every single one of us should have an investment account that we are putting, I don't care whether it is like $5, $50, or $5,000 a month into. Like, there is a such thing as compound interest that I have recently learned about. I always felt like I didn't have enough money to need to care about investments or like long-term financials or compound interest, things like that. But like at the end of the day, like something is better than nothing. And the sooner you get started putting money into that, the quicker you can start compounding interest. I look back and I'm so mad that I could have had 10 years. If I started in my 20s, like I could have had 10 years of compound interest just like sitting in the bank or sitting in the account for me right now. But, you know, I got started a little bit late in life, but you're going to do better than me, right? Yes, you're gonna you're gonna do better. And last question, do you think your new bae is the one? Let me just say this. We shall see. Okay? We shall see. I think the most important thing when it comes to relationships is to not put too much pressure on them, especially out the gate, especially when you haven't even been dating for a whole year. So I can't wait to find out. Is my answer to that one. That is all for today. I know we were kind of like bouncing all over the map, but I hope you got a better look into who I am, what drives me, where I'm currently at in life. I feel like I could talk to you guys for hours and hours, but I'm going to cut it here. I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Again, we are putting that 100K subscribers out into the universe. So if you would like to be one of those people that makes my dream come true, make sure you smash that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next video.